ナダの作品で、監督の、マティアス・グラハムさんとつないでお話をできるはずなので、ちょっと様子見ましょう。And Mattias, can you see and hear us okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
We sure can. And welcome to Short Shorts via internet. Nice to have you here. And congratulations. We're very happy and proud to have your film selected and shown at our festival. Can you first of all say hi to your new Japanese fans here?
Hi, everyone. I'm in Montreal, and it's almost midnight here. I hope you're having a great day and a wonderful festival.
はい、監督のマティアス・グラハムさんで、今カナダのモントリオールにいらっしゃいまして、今ちょうど夜中の12時ぐらいという感じですね。で、皆さんとお会いできて嬉しいということです。So, once again, thanks for a great short film. First of all, you wrote the script as well. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to write the story?
Yes. So, I started by a series of experimental films, actually, set in pools. And the story later was inspired by a friend who explained some of the things that happened to them as a young swimmer. So,
Okay, let me do that so
yes,
far.
thank you.
で、マティアスさんは結構実験的っていうかエクスペリメンタル系の撮影を特にプールで水の下とかの映像とか実験的にいろいろ撮ってまして、で知り合いからこういうちょっとコーチからのアビュースがあったストーリーを聞いてこれを書き始めたっていうことですよね。Okay, please continue.
Thanks. Yes, so a friend shared their story with me, and I felt I had a responsibility to tell it in a truthful way. And finally, the film combines some of my own experiences with my family and my younger brothers.
で、この話を聞いて、これはもう僕はこの物語を映画にするべきだと自分感じまして、で、やっぱり自分の家族からの経験もちょっとあったっていうみたいなので、それを含めて、このストーリーを書いて映画にするとこなんですよね。You said you did some experimental work at a pool or underwater filming or whatever that is, but there were some really, really wonderful visual moments, like just under the surface of the water, and it also coincided with the story for me where the Damien character kind of had to submerge his own feelings and his inability to do something about it and confront it. Was that something that you were looking for, or was that something that you came to realize as you were shooting, or how was that?
Yes and yes. I really appreciate you saying that. The goal of the film was definitely to explore these things that are hidden under the surface. And the structure we took along with those underwater shots was definitely a part of it. The underwater shots you see were originally supposed to be for the film's poster, but they were just too good. They were just such great shots. We knew we needed to have them in there, and they really helped to show the interiority of Damien's character.
Absolutely. で、ダミアンがプールの下でちょっと泳いでるとことか非常に綺麗な水面下の映像もあったと思うんですけど、それはダミアンの気持ちと同時になんかはっきり上には出せない、表には出せないという気持ちをそういうふうに表したっていうことなんですけど、でそれはやっぱり企画最中、そして作りながら気がついたことで、最初は水の中のシーンはポスターのために使うつもりだったんですよね、ポスターだけに。でもだんだん制作作ってる間にこれはでもストーリーと本当にダミアンの内心の気持ちと表すためにはすごくもうぴったりの映像なので、ちゃんと映像にも映画にも映像として使ったっていうことなんですよね。And yeah, those two two kids were just amazing. Jacob White Duck Lavoie as for Damien, and playing Jordan was Ryan Hill. How did you find these guys? Was there a casting process, or did you got introduced to them, or how'd you find them?
There was a casting process, but Jacob, who plays Damien, was our first choice from the beginning. Jacob was one of the stars of this wonderful Quebecois film called Une Colonie, and he had a naturalism, right? This ability to explore the subtleties of emotion that really stood out. So it was a thrill to work with him. And then Ryan Hill, we met through our casting process, and he is just the sweetest. He's just the sweetest, and they paired off really well with each other, I found.
で主役の2人のお子さん子役なんですけど、ダミアン役にはジェイコブ・ワイトダック・ラボア、そしてジョーダン役にはライアン・ヒルという2人だったんですけど、ジェイコブはもうすでに違う作品で監督がもう目つけてまして、もう絶対この役はジェイコブにお願いしたいっていう気持ちもあったみたいで、一応オーディションとかも行いまして、でそのジョーダン役のライアンはもう本当に心も姿も美しいところがありまして、もうぴったりだと感じて映画に入ってもらったっていうことなんですけど、and that was a very important part of the casting I felt for the story, because yeah, they're very beautiful as children, they're innocence and their purity, but they're also just plain old beautiful kids. And I think that's something that maybe a predator would look for or is attracted to. So I think that might have been a pretty important part of the character as well, yes?
I never thought about that. I think for me, one of the earlier questions for casting was just, do we go with a swimmer even, right? Like, do we focus on that, or on the performance? And it became very clear very quickly that the performance is the most important thing, right? Like, you look into Jacob's eyes and you just feel he's going through something.
Right.
So we actually trained with him to get him to the level he needed to be for the film as a swimmer too. So
okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was definitely like performance first, and then everything else came.
That's interesting. でキャスティングの最初はやっぱり泳げる人を見つけて、で演技の話をしようというつもりだったんですけど、だんだん気がついたのは、やっぱりこのストーリーの演技が一番重要なので、そのジェイコブを見つけて利用するっていうことになったら、そこから水泳をちょっと教えたりトレーニングしてもらって、ちゃんとしたいわゆる水泳選手として演技もできるっていう形にしたっていうことなんですよね。For our festival, we always ask some very basic questions. How many days did you shoot?
If I'm not mistaken, we shot for 5 days.
That's actually a luxury as far as short films are concerned.
Yes.
We get a lot of stories about, yeah, we had a day to shoot or 2 days to shoot. So that's very nice. And what was the location? Where was the pool where a majority of the story took place?
Yeah, we shot at the Olympic pool in Montreal. So, well, I mean, some of the guests in the audience will have some awareness of the kind of fun consequences of Olympic infrastructure, but it's a beautiful pool, and it's where it's where the best swimmers train, and they were really, really accommodating with us. So it was like a pleasure to shoot there. But finding the water slide was tricky. Hard to find that in Montreal. I don't know why.
Wow, that's great. でまず、撮影期間は5日間かけて撮影を終えたんですけど、でプールなんですけど、なんと見事モントリオールのオリンピックに使われたプールOK で使うこと OK になりまして、非常にその点はもうラッキーだったっておっしゃってましたね。So, Mattias, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with us. We're so happy and proud to feature Bleach as part of our festival. And what do you got in the works? You got something you're working on, or you're kind of scribbling on a script? What's going on?
Definitely scribbling. Thank you, John. Yeah, working on something a little bit longer this time. So I can't say too much right now, but hopefully something to take me back to my home and the prairies in Canada.
And so we're talking about a feature, possibly?
Yes. Yeah.
で今は新しい企画、っていうか脚本を書いてるとこなんですけど、長編スタイルで地元はもうちょっとモントリオールみたいな都会じゃなくてカナダの田舎の方なんですけど、そこを舞台にしたストーリーの感じみたいですね。Well, good luck with that, and I sincerely hope that you can make like a 20-minute edit version to submit it to us again. And once again, thanks so much. And if you'll give a final shout out and a message to your new fans here in Japan.
Thank you so much to everyone at Short Shorts. You're awesome. Enjoy the rest of the festival. Thank you so much.
はい、皆さん本当にありがとうございます。フェスティバルの残りを楽しんでくださいというメッセージでした。From Canada for Bleach, that was Director Mattias Graham. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. はい、ありがとうございました。はい、で実は、もう一方ディレクターは最後の作品サングラス、オーストラリアの監督でイスマイル・カーンさんともつないでいろいろ話をお伺いすることで、いましたね。Ismail, we see you and can you see us and hear us okay?
Yes, I can see you. How are you, everybody?
Excellent, and we can hear you now, so thanks for participating with us. Tell us where you are and what time it is right now.
I am in a suburb called Wollongong, which is about an hour and a half south of Sydney, and it is nearly 2 p.m. So.
で今、オーストラリアのシドニーの南部1時間半ぐらいの町にいまして、今だいたい午後2時になっております。So, thank you for submitting, and we're very, very happy and proud to present Sunnies here to the Japanese audience. And first of all, I think it's just great how you can show how clever a young kid can be. And you wrote the script for this. Tell us how this story came about for you.
Yeah, so it started sort of very larger scale than what I ended up with. I knew that I wanted to do a film from like a young adolescent point of view, but a young adolescent that was being brought up around very sort of having to deal with adult issues and adult dramas. And I was inspired by films like, you know, Leon Ramsey's Ratcatcher, or Barry Jenkins' Moonlight, and a more recent one was Nadine Labaki's Capanout. And then all of these characters had this sort of similar theme of young adolescents having to deal with a grown-up world on their own.
Okay, let me do that so far, okay? で、まずこのサニーズ・サングラスのストーリーなんですけど、イスマイルさんが監督だけではなくて脚本も書いたんですよね。で、とにかくその若い世代の子供がどういうふうに大人の、いわゆるいろいろ問題とか事件とか、例えばこの場合だったらDV、ドメスティックアビュースなんですが、どういうふうにその子供はそれに対応できるか、そういうテーマのストーリーを映画として出したかったので、こういうスクリプトを書いて、で例えば最近だったらアカデミー賞も取ったムーンナイトとか、いろんな映画を、そういうテーマを持っている映画を見て、若い子供がどういうふうにその大人の、世界に、対応できるのかっていうテーマを書きたかったっていうみたいなんですよね。We have to talk about Malachi Williams as Malcolm. He was just wonderful. How did you find him?
Yeah, no, he's what makes the film what it is, in my opinion. Yeah, it was a pretty long casting process. So I was adamant that we would cast from the local area that we shot the film in, which is southwest of Sydney, about an hour's drive southwest of Sydney. And it's a suburb where I grew up as well. So I wanted that represented on screen in a way. But it was also a suburb where sort of working class suburbia meets sort of government housing. So I wanted to cast as authentically as possible. And so we did a casting call out in the area and held auditions in the local arts centre to make it as accessible as possible, rather than sort of having everybody try to come to Sydney, where we were sort of doing all of the pre-work and stuff. And we also went to schools as well, local primary schools, and the teachers were kind enough to give us, a short list of kids who would be interested. And so we auditioned a fair few kids over sort of 2 or 3 weekends. And it was one of those cases of this particular person, Malachi, walked in and you kind of knew straight away that it was going to be him, and it was just about sort of testing his ability to be directed.
Wow, that's great, and it's great that you found him. で、この、主人公、マルコムの、役には、マラカイ・ウィリアムスという、子を見つけたんですけど、どういうふうに見つけたって聞いたんですけど、そのキャスティングのプロセスなんですけど、舞台はシドニーから1時間ぐらいの郊外を舞台にしたかったんですよね。というのは、一般の、エリア、街をロケーションとしたかったので、なるべくそこからキャストを引っ張りたいという気持ちがあったんですよね。で、オーディションを行って、あと、その地域の学校にもちょっと協力していただいて、大体2週間、3週間にわたっていろいろ、子役を探し回ってて、で、この、マラカイが入ってきた瞬間、マルコも見つけたってもうすぐ分かったみたいなんですよね。And the final twist, not the twist, but the key point in the movie where he rips off the sunglasses in the store, makes sure he's seen on the video, and then brings the police to the door, and then he very cleverly brings them in and makes sure that they find mom. Was this written just like that in your script originally, or did you find some things out and change some things as you were shooting and discover some things? How did that go?
Yeah, it was scripted in that way, and it was this I wanted to have it a very, very strong point of view of just this kid. And so you'll notice the camera's never above him. It's always at his level or a little bit below him. It's never adults looking down at him or anything like that. So that was like a very clear visual language sort of thing. And then just with his character, it was all about him kind of setting up a situation that would force the police officers to come into the house. When the dad says, "Come here, Malcolm, come here," he's like, "No, you have to deal with this. You're going to be the one that, gets them to come inside. They're after me." All right, that's the key hook. Is they're after me, not after you, and that's the kind of the cleverness of it. Is that and by him not coming to the door, and by them being after him, not the dad, that forces the police inside. And also at that same time, he's also testing his dad's buttons. Is he going to lose? Is he going to show his true self? Well, he's not. He's going to be very charming and nice. And yes, guys, come in. Welcome. Do you guys want a drink? And then he's really starting to achieve his objective. Really, yeah.
Right.
So it was kind of written with that intent. And even in the rehearsal process, I kind of went through scene by scene with Malachi, and I said, "What do you want from this scene? What's the moment here?" And in particular, at the door, I was like, in the scene, because it's written like Malcolm stands in the middle of the lounge room. He doesn't come to the door. I'm like, "Why aren't you going to the door, Malachi? Why isn't your character going to the door?" So that I was comfortable that he fully understood the objective of him in that situation.
Right. で、本当に鍵を握るラストのシーンなんですけど、まずマラカイが賢いっていうのは、警察がドアに来て自分がドアに行っちゃったらもう警察が入ってこないから、その賢さを使ってもう奥の方にずっと立ってて、警察が入ってくるようにそういう行動をしたんですよね。で、プラスお父さんが まあ、なんて言うんでしょうね、どういうふうにその反応するのか、警察が来て、で、まあ、ちょっと切れちゃうのか、あと、まあ、その子供が悪い、マナカイが悪いことしたから、お父さんが、まあ、いわゆる狙われてるんじゃなくて、マナカイをまあ、逮捕に来たので、お父さんは別に罪ないと自分は思ってたから、じゃあ入ってくださいっていうところまでマナカイがうまく、まあ、いわゆる引っ張ったっていうか、っていう感じだったんですよね。で、監督として一番キーなのは、そのカメラ目線が大人からマルコムに見下ろすんじゃなくて、カメラ目線も全部マルコム目線としてたんですよね。低いアングルで撮ってたので、それは監督としては演出の中では非常に重要なポイントだったと言ってます。We always ask a couple of very basic questions. How many days did you shoot?
We originally had a 5-day schedule, but we had to recast one of our characters. And so it ended up being 7 days because we had to reshoot 2 days. So it ended up being 7 days. Yes.
で撮影期間は予定では5日間だったんですけど、途中でちょっとキャスト変更があったので、プラス2日でトータルで7日間、撮影を終えたということですね。Ismail, thanks so much. This is really, really an important theme, but you also thanks mostly to a lot to Malachi, who was just wonderful in the film.
Mm-hmm.
You made the audience want to stay with him, which is an important part because the ending is so key and so wonderfully directed. So thanks once again for showing us another way to confront this very serious domestic violence issue. What do you got in the works? Are you working on something new, writing something? What's up with that?
Yeah, as you said with Mattias scribbling, I'm also scribbling. Just sort of, I'm actually digging up some, older material that I was writing around the time of Sunnies, but sort of was pushed into the background. And I'm just sporadically working on a feature film at the moment, just trying to write a treatment for that. And I shot my first episode of television last year, and still in post-production at the moment for that, doing I actually have to give notes tonight on the score, so it's close to finished.
Excellent. で、イスマイルさんは今は、また長編の、脚本を書き始めてて、ちょっと企画も作ってる段階で、去年初めてテレビの、賞を一つ取り終わって、今のそのポストプロダクションの方に入ってるんで、これからもっともっと期待できる監督だと思います。Well, we're definitely looking forward to more great things from you. Yeah, you've got a talent in directing, definitely, from what we see with Sunnies.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to more from you, and thanks so much. And if you'll give a final shout out to your new fans here in Japan.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the film, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the festival. And thanks to Short Shorts, it made my month when I received confirmation that we were selected. So it was very exciting for me. Thank you.
はい、皆さんありがとうございました。ショートフィルムフェスティバル、参加していただいて、これを見に来ていただいて本当に嬉しいって言ってくれました。はい、ありがとうございました。Thanks very much, Ismail, and we'll talk to you soon again, okay? Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye.